Hello and welcome to Success Tips Global. It's February the 9th, 2023, and I have the pleasure of speaking with Canadian Aikido master and nutrition expert, Mr. Mitch Troop. Welcome to Success Tips Global.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Okay, so my first question is, when did you first come to Japan?
I first came to Japan almost 20 years ago. It was middle of August in 2003.
And what brought you here?
I came here because I wanted to do something overseas.
Okay.
And I had the choice between Korea, Taiwan, and Japan.
And why did Japan win out?
Well, Japan was always the first choice because when I was a kid, I had an interest in Japan, and it seemed like the most things that to do, the most things to explore, a very rich history, and it was the place I wanted to go. It was just finding a job.
Okay. So when you first came, what did you do?
I worked as an English teacher at a Kaiwa, or English conversation school. Did that for about 3.5 years.
And what was the experience like, positive or negative?
It was mostly positive.
Okay.
A little bit negative on some of the management of the company, but
Right.
overall positive.
Okay, so let's talk about Aikido. What got you interested in Aikido?
It was a fellow Canadian, a friend of mine that I ran into, and he was actually, we went to the same university. He grew up in the town very close to me. We went to the same university. We just started talking, and he was a martial artist, and I told him I always wanted to get into it. And he said, "Oh, well, there's a class on the weekends, and I can introduce you sometime."
Great. And how difficult has it been to stick with it? Because you've been able to go pretty far, right?
Yeah. You see a lot of people, they join, and then once they hit the Shodan, their first Dan grade, they get their black belt and say, "Okay, I got my black belt, I'm done."
Yeah.
It was difficult at times, especially in the winters. It's nice and warm at home, and the boat does not have heating.
Right.
So, and then you see other people that you come to practice, and they don't, and you think, maybe I should. But yeah, I think it was worth it continuing.
Right. Okay, and what's attractive about Aikido when you compare it to other forms of martial arts?
Well, it depends on your personality, but for me personally, two things was made it attractive for me. The first was that there was no competition, so it's there's not so much of the kind of, I guess, butting heads, and it promotes, I don't know, a different relationship between the people. And the second one was just kind of the kid in me. When I was a young kid, I always used to take off broomsticks to my parents' brooms and cut them into things and like weapons and staffs and nunchucks and stuff. And then when I went to Aikido, at the end of the class, they said, "Okay, now it's time for weapons. Bring out your weapons." And got out the wooden sword, the bokken, and the jo. And it's got weapons.
Okay, and I think you have an Aikido master who was quite famous, right? Can you talk a little bit about the master?
His name is Nemoto Sensei, Hiroki Nemoto. He is now 7th degree or 7th dan from the Aikikai. It's part of the reason that I also joined Aikido as well, is because he's very close to the line of the founder of Aikido. So the founder was Ue Shiba, or they mostly call it O Sensei, and then his top student, or one of the longest students that was with him until the end, was Saito Sensei. And then one of Saito Sensei's top students, who is with him a very long time, I think it was 30 some years, was Nemoto Sensei. So
okay. So apart from the self-defense aspect, what do you think you've got out of pursuing Aikido for such a long period?
Besides self-defense, I think it's the philosophy and the relationship between people. Because if you want to do it for exercise, there's better ways of getting exercise than having your joints bent into weird positions. But the whole idea of non-combat and trying to find a way around things and self-improvement.
Right.
I was introduced through my teacher. He was a big on the concept of the Nishin, which is, basically every day is new. Every day try to do a little bit more than what you did yesterday, and just continual self-improvement. And very good relationships. Because of the lack of competition, like a lot of the relationships I formed there they're really strong.
Great. Okay, now let's step back to Canada. Which part of Canada are you from?
Manitoba.
Okay, and what do people need to know about Manitoba?
It's cold. About Manitoba, it's right in the middle of Canada. There's not much special about it. There's a high Ukrainian population.
Okay.
Yeah, it is very cold. It's very good if you like camping and wildlife.
Okay. And before you came to Canada, what were you doing? Were you a student then, or had you just finished university?
No, I finished university in 2000.
Okay.
And then for 3 years, I was doing, part-time, I was doing personal training.
Okay.
That was my original degree, was physical education and exercise science.
Okay.
So I was doing personal training, but the bulk of it was I was a support worker for the what they call developmentally delayed people.
Yes.
So I was there to help them when they had troubles and do things like taking them out shopping.
Okay.
Helping them cook and just basically supporting them for.
And since you came, how often have you returned to Canada?
I think about 5 times.
Oh, okay. And how long do you stay when you go back?
Not very long, because I have to take the time off work. So I think the most I ever stayed was 2 weeks. And
okay.
The quickest one was like a 3-day.
Okay. So what's your impression of Canada when you go back? Have you seen any changes, or is it pretty much as you left it?
The biggest change that I noticed was the expense.
Okay.
Because when I left, Japan was the big wow, Japan is so expensive. The image was, like, I think it was $50 melons in Tokyo, and so
maybe the bubble period, right?
Yeah, it was like just at the end of the bubble period. So when I went back, every time I went back, it's gotten a little cheaper. It's gotten a little cheaper. And then I looked, at housing prices. It's almost done a flip.
Right.
With the exception of, like, Tokyo, it hasn't gotten more expensive. It just kind of leveled off, where everywhere else it really gotten much more expensive.
And the population is going down in Japan, whereas Canada is probably going up, right? So with immigrants and all that.
And that there's the big push to get a lot of immigration in, so that's been a huge jump. And
right. Okay, so let's talk about nutrition and training for a moment. What got you interested in that?
Always been interested in nutrition and training. when I was in, what was it? I remember now. The big thing was when I was like a junior high school student.
Okay.
I watched a movie.
Mm.
Some people may remember. It was called A Pirate Story.
Okay.
It was kind of a comedy movie, and in the movie there was this pirate king, and there was one scene where he's like showing off his muscles and this,
Right.
oh, and he said, "Oh, my secret was I do 50 push-ups every day."
Mm.
After I saw the movie, I said, "Okay, I'm going to do 50 push-ups every day." I did it for a while, and then my parents saw me doing it, and so they said, "Well, okay, well, try to encourage that." So I think it was the next Christmas or my birthday, I got a set of dumbbells and barbells.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to university for that. And then the nutrition just kind of sprang from that because
Mm-hmm.
you wanting to work out. At first, it was just, nutrition for building muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I moved to Japan and started getting older, it started branching out more for also maintaining health and
Mm-hmm.
trying to keep healthy as well.
Mm. Okay. Did you study nutrition formally through some institution of some kind?
Yes, I did. Not a formal institution, but I think it was one of the best. I got a much better education than I think I could have ever gotten anywhere else.
Okay.
About a year ago, yeah. Well, I
Mm.
started 2 years ago. It was a 1 year certification where
Okay.
you had to have a prerequisite of some kind of related degree. So
Okay.
with my Bachelor of Physical Education, I was allowed in.
Okay.
And it was called MNU, which stands for Mac Nutrition University. So
Okay.
it's an online certification,
Mm.
but they go through everything you need by taking out the stuff that you really don't need if you're going to actually practice nutrition.
Okay. 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 So how has that helped you change your nutrition?
It's helped me not worry about what I'm not doing. I think
Okay.
that's the biggest thing. When I see other things on the internet or on TV or something, then you should do this because it's
Mm.
for your health and nutrition. I can just remember my knowledge and say it's not going to make much of a difference.
Right.
I'm doing the basics. I know the science behind it, so I don't have to worry about that.
Okay. Mm. Okay. How much of Japan have you been able to see?
Most of it, I think.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. The only places that I haven't been yet is Hokkaido and
Mm-hmm.
Shikoku.
Okay. So are there any sports that you would recommend to people?
Well, of course, Kyoto. Kyoto is
Mm.
beautiful. There's a lot to see. Everybody should do Kyoto once. Um, but as far as spots that kind of get passed over,
Mm-hmm.
I went to and I really liked Kumamoto.
Oh, okay. And
So
because of?
um, it was just really nice. It was really relaxing.
Mm.
The people there were really good. And it's got some history. Even all of Kyushu, like Kumamoto was there is the house of the Japanese, well, an Irish. Later, he got Japanese citizen writer Koizumi Yakumo,
Okay.
who was I can't remember. I can't pronounce his name properly, but it
Mm.
Lafakado Hearn or something. He
Okay.
wrote a famous um, book about Japanese ghost stories
Mm.
and another famous writer there. And of course, in Kumamoto, it was also, I think, somewhere close to there, the hometown of Miyamoto Musashi.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Who is famous, quite famous. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Mm-hmm.
wrote the Book of Five Rings. So
Right.
as
Mm-hmm.
a Aikido, someone doing Aikido, it's
Mm.
very talked about, and I wanted to see where
Mm.
he was born.
Okay. Mm. So, well, you're still teaching English, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, what kind of students are you teaching these days?
Everything right now. The main students I'm teaching right now are very young kids, kindergarten
Okay.
kids.
Mhm.
So it's always an adventure.
Right, right. Okay. And what advice would you give to people who are interested in living in Japan or maybe just visiting for a while?
My advice would be just to relax and keep an open mindset to explore. Don't go too off on either side, because you've got some people who come in and they just treat Japan as, I'm just gonna do whatever. I'm gonna go to Kyoto, go
Right.
to Okinawa, walk, see the temples, go, okay, I'm finished.
Mhm.
And then you got some people on the other side that take it way too seriously, and they're gonna, go to Japan, they're gonna join a monastery and
Right.
devote their time. I would say just keep an open mind and explore and see the different things.
Mm. Okay, so if somebody is interested in your nutrition or do you teach Aikido as well?
I do, but right now I'm just teaching a small kids class,
Oh,
basically
okay, okay.
and a few of their friends.
Okay, so if some parent is interested in introducing their kid, are they able to get into you on some platform or other?
Yeah, I have my Facebook at just Mitch Troop on my Facebook page.
Okay, I'll put up a link. Yeah.
Yeah. I also my email mitchtroop@hotmail.com is always open to anybody.
Okay, great, great, great. Okay, my questions are finished, but do you have any final message, something you've been wanting to get off your chest for a long time?
Oh, not really.
Okay.
My big thing is when you come to Japan, that remember, with any country there's the good and the bad,
Okay.
and it's important not to look only the good and forget about the bad. It's important not to look only the bad and forget about the good.
That's
They're
a very
because,
powerful message. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
I really
And
appreciate it. Yeah. Mm.
just one more thing,
Yeah.
for the nutrition, because
Yes.
I do have my Facebook page, and there is a link. I have an actual website.
Okay.
So it's bodyoptimizedcoaching.com.
Okay.
And on the website, there is also should be a link to my email. It's just mitch@bodyoptimizedcoaching.com. So if anyone's interested in that section too as well.
Fabulous. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye for now.
All right. Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.